anyway, he says, I found out something. He says, you know, you can buy those packages of jockey shorts, men's shorts, for free in a package. And he says, I just got tired of taking my shorts up to be washed all the time at the laundrette. So he said, I just throw them away and buy new packages. So when he died, in the hallway there was a closet where it had double doors, you know, and you'd open it.
Oh, don't tell me.
The floor was piled that high with dirty jockey shorts.
Oh, that's vile.
You know what I did? I called Salvation Army. And I told the guy, I said, I'm cleaning out the house of an elderly man. I didn't say gentleman, I said an elderly man. And I said, in the closet I have found, piled about at least 2 feet high, jockey shorts that have been worn. I'm not going to wash them. And I say they've only been worn once, you can tell. And if you're interested, come and get them. So he said, we will. And they came and got them. I didn't even touch them.
Do they wash clothes before they?
Yeah, sure they do. So he said, we'll come and get them. And they stopped by and they brought these big plastic bags and they loaded them all in there and took them.
Wow.
But he was such a prude. And you know, his mother was so, she was like, she'd say, well, I got my bathroom all scrubbed today. Every morning when she'd call me almost every day, and she would say, well, I got the bathroom scrubbed already. She would scrub every part of her bathroom every day. The house was vacuumed, carpet swept. She didn't have a vacuum. Carpet swept, dusted. This was a ritual. His dad always wore a white shirt, and they were, both of them, so meticulously clean. I don't know how he ever managed to even live with himself as such a pig. One time I saw this old guy walking around the corner, white beard. He had on this goofy hat. He had a pants that looked like it had a load in them, and this funny shoes. Toes turned up, and he's walking along, and I was just getting ready to get out of the car, and I looked again, and I thought, my God, that's Al. And I backed up and went home. I thought, if I go to the store, he's going to talk to me, and I don't want anybody to know I even know him. I've been married to the guy for 35 years.
Isn't that shocking when you got my dad?
On his bed, you never saw such a mess in your life, and he had evidently shit his pants. And it was all smeared down the side of the bed. Oh, God, it was filthy. The whole place just reeked. And he called.
And he turned off. Didn't he turn off?
The water was turned off. The whole sink was full of dishes. Just
oh, he was like Howard Hughes.
Yeah, filthy, dirty as you could possibly get anything in. He had a thing with the guy next door. He said a signal. If his curtain wasn't open in the morning, to check on him. And so Bob happened to be coming in from a trip that night from someplace. And he noticed that the curtains were open, and it was night. And the front door was open, but there wasn't a light on in the house. So he decided he better go check. So he went in and checked, and he found him dead on the floor. But he was bare naked, except for one sock, and he had been sitting at the table eating a piece of watermelon. Evidently, it was in July, and evidently it was hot, and he was sitting there eating watermelon, and he probably had a heart attack. I asked the doctor what he died from, and he says, I have no idea. He says he had so many things wrong with him, he said it surprised me he even lived as long as he did.
Whoa.
But anyway, he had all this crap, and it was all over every place, and both toilets were full of shit.
And he would empty ashtrays onto the dining room table, and it was just a mountain of ashes on the dining room table. And he also had his diabetic testing stuff, all of the strips and the lancets and everything else were all over the floor.
So he was just crazy.
Yeah.
He was. Nuttier than a fruitcake. So that was the last 2 weeks, because we had this blow up about Paul's letter, the 2 weeks before that, and he spent 2 weeks he was going to fix that still. When he died without a friend, he lay there he told me though, when I was still with him, he says, you know what's going to happen to me? And I said, what's going to happen to you? He says, I'm going to die someplace, I'm going to lay there for 2 days before somebody finds me, and
self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
He said about working to make it come true.
Yeah, he did. He said about working